Hello everyone, this is module 2 of business communication. In this module, we are covering adapting your words to your readers. That means how you should choose your words so that your readers can easily get your message. I'm your course instructor, Mohammed Islam. Now let's move to this lecture. First of all, what are the things that you should consider when you write something before writing something to readers? In this case, you need to visualize your readers based on how they think, what they know, their education level and so on. And finally, after considering all these things, you need to write for them. You should also focus on short and familiar words instead of long and unfamiliar words. Your objective should not be to show that you have a advanced vocabularies. Rather, your objective should be communicate easily. So in this case, for this reason, you should always prefer short and familiar words. Now let's look at some of the examples of long and unfamiliar words. These are, say, abbreviate, accomplish, ascertain. Now let's look at what are their shorter versions and familiar words. Abbreviate means shorten. Shorten is much easier than abbreviate. Accomplish, do. So all these are about, instead of ascertain, you can say find out, begin instead of comments, much instead of considerable, decide instead of determine, and finally harmful instead of detrimental are more common words, and these are the short words. If you use these words, your readers will probably get the message clearly. Then always avoid slang and popular clichés. Now let's look at this example. Here she's saying that she really threw me under the bus when she told the boss I was responsible for the missed deadline. Here, threw me under the bus. It doesn't mean that she threw you under the bus to kill you. It indicates that you were in trouble when she told the boss that you were responsible for the missed deadline. So instead of writing threw me under the bus, you can say that I was in trouble when she told the boss I was responsible for the missed deadline. There are some other examples over here. So the thing is, if you use slang or popular clichés, your readers may not get your message. Even if it is their first language, and if the English is the second language, probably your readers will not understand anything. So make sure that your readers get the message. Your readers get your message. You should always try to avoid these slangs and popular clichés. Then about technical language. So if you want to use any technical language, you should be really very careful. Let's look at an example. There are some technical languages here on the left side. Now let's look at the improved version. If you say covered employment, your readers may not get the message. But if you say a job covered by social security, everyone will get the message. Then instead of to file a claim, you should write to apply for the insurance payments and so on. So try to avoid technical language, or if you use the technical language, there should be a definition of the technical language so that your readers can understand your writing. In the meantime, try to choose precise words. So let's look at this example. Here you can say she claimed, maintained, or said that she was ill. Over here, she said is the most appropriate word for this sentence. So when you choose your word, you should be very precise. So you should consider collocation when you choose the word, because if you do not use precise word, if you do not consider collocation, your sentence will be grammatically correct, but it will be hard to understand by the readers. There are some other example. So if you look at the last one, she has an interest in or for technical writing. If you know the collocation, interest in is more appropriate than interest for. So we should write she has an interest in technical writing. Now, always try to be very concrete and detail oriented when you write something instead of using abstract sentences. Now let's look at the first example. The abstract form of the first example is we have found that the technique is successful. Now the question is, to what extent the technique is successful? Is it 80% successful, 70% successful, or 40% successful? This is not clear by the word successful. So instead, you may write, our research show that 87% of those who are using techniques are successful. So here, 87% clearly shows how successful is the technique is. Then, if we look at the third example, will ship your order soon. So what do you mean by soon? Is it 1 day, 2 days, 3 working days, 7 days, or 2 weeks? So it's not clear what you mean by soon. So you should be very concrete when you write soon. Instead of soon, you should be very concrete. Now let's look at this example over here. It says about the order number, what did you order, when did you order, how you are delivering your order. So that's applied. When you will receive your order, it says that on 15 October. This one is very specific. So when you write something, try to be very specific instead of writing an abstract form. There are 2 more examples here. Now, what should you use, active or passive? In our school life, we have learned how to convert active sentences to passive sentences and passive to active sentences. But in business communication, it is wiser to use active sentences, because active sentences are easier to understand by the readers. Let's look at the second example. It says the report was read by the president. So that's the passive sentence. The active form, the president read your report. So the active form is much easier to understand. There are some more examples here. Now, always use strong verb instead of camouflage verb. If you look at the example, first one is make a classification, make a computation. Instead of use these verbs, you can use classify. It's a single word, very strong one. Then compute, instead of make a computation, is strong verb, and it only contains one word. So this is how you should use strong verb. These strong verbs will help your readers to get your message clearly. In case of communication, you should be very careful about gender, race, or any types of word which typically represents any sort of disabilities. So now let's look at some example. So if you look at the left side, which is the sexiest, and right side, we have a right side will contain non-sexiest words: man-made, manpower, congressman, businessman, mailman. All of these words are indicating male, or the final one, waiter, waitress. This also indicates either male or female. So when you write something, try to be gender neutral. That means you should use the words which doesn't indicate any gender, neither male or female. So instead of man-made, you may use manufactured, or of human origin, personnel and workers instead of congressmen, instead of manpower, business executive or business person instead of businessman. So there are some other example: police officer instead of policeman, firefighter instead of fireman, and so on. So focus should be on using gender neutral words. So using gender neutral words, you should develop your sentences. So if you look at the left side, which contains sexist words, say for example, if a customer pays promptly, the second one, if a customer pays promptly, he is placed in our preferred list. Here he indicates male. The first example, he is, and in the third example, he is, all indicates male. So you should not indicate any gender when you write anything, right, for the communication purpose. Now let's look at the second example. A customer who pays promptly is placed on our preferred list. In this sentence doesn't include any sort of he or she, so the sentence becomes gender neutral. So this is how you should write sentences with gender neutral words. There is one more way, and it can be gender neutral. So if you write his, you can also say his or her, he or she, his or her. If you use the both sentence, it will be also gender neutral. You can also use plural instead of singular if you want to make a gender neutral sentence. So if you look at the first example, if a customer pays promptly, he is placed on our preferred list. So if you say about a single customer, you have to either use he or she. So in that case, it will be a sexiest word. So to be non-sexiest or to be gender neutral, you can use plural. If customers instead of if a customer. So when you use the plural, you can easily say they are placed on our preferred list. When you use they, it will become gender neutral sentence. There are some other example of contains they if instead of a he or she. And finally, you should also avoid stereotyping languages. Say for example, hardworking Mexican or Indian, and you should also avoid any sort of sexual orientation, age, or disability. So that's all about module 2. This module 2, we have learned how should we pick our words for better communication. So I would also request you to develop your English, because if you do not improve your English, it will be harder for you to improve your communication skills. So that's all about this lecture. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you.